Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on artificial intelligence, to really get into the three main ways machines actually learn. Ever wonder about that? How your phone just knows your face? Or how your inbox magically filters out junk? Well, it's not magic, not really. The answer is machine learning. It's a huge part of AI, and it's working all around us all the time. So what is it exactly? Well, at its heart, machine learning is all about teaching computers to do things that are just way too complex for human to program step by step. We feed them tons and tons of data, and they learn to spot patterns, make predictions, and handle these really tricky tasks pretty much on their own. Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to look at learning with a teacher, then what happens when machines have to figure things out alone, and finally how they learn through interaction. And we'll wrap up by talking about picking the right tool for the job. Let's dive in. All right, first up, learning with a teacher, or what we call supervised learning. Seriously, the best way to think about this is like a student cramming for a test with a textbook and, crucially, the answer key right in the back. So it all kicks off with really good, high-quality labeled data. And that word labeled is everything here. It means for every single piece of info we give the machine, say a picture of a utensil, we also give it the correct answer. We're literally telling it, hey, this is a spoon and this is a knife. Okay, so the algorithm then chews through thousands, maybe even millions of these examples. It's looking for patterns, right? What makes a spoon a spoon? It's basically building its own set of rules from the ground up, creating something like a decision tree. Does it have a sharp edge? Yes, okay, it's probably a knife. It keeps asking these questions until it reaches a final, confident prediction. Now, this whole approach is perfect for two main kinds of problems. First, you've got classification. That's all about sorting stuff into buckets. Is this email spam or not spam? Simple. The other is regression, and that's when you're trying to predict a specific number. What's this house going to sell for? What's the temperature going to be tomorrow? And trust me, you see supervised learning everywhere. It's the reason your inbox isn't a total disaster. It's behind those housing price predictions. It's how your phone recognizes faces in photos. And it's even how banks figure out credit scores. It's the go-to method for any problem where you have a bunch of historical data and you know what the right answers were. But, and this is a big but, what if you don't have labeled data? What if there's no answer key? Labeling millions of photos takes a ton of time and money. So what do you do then? Well, that brings us to our second stop, finding patterns alone. This is unsupervised learning. Now, imagine the machine is more like a detective thrown into a room full of evidence, but with zero instructions. Its job? Just find the patterns. So picture this. We give the algorithm a whole mess of animal photos, but this time, no labels, no cat tags, no dog tags. To the machine, it's all just a jumble of pixels. So what on earth is it supposed to do with that? Well, this is where it gets really cool. The algorithm just starts analyzing the raw data. It starts noticing things, similarities. These pictures have pointy ears and whiskers, and these over here have floppy ears and snouts. And based on those shared features, it starts to cluster them, to sort them into different groups. Now get this, it has no idea one group is called cats and the other is dogs. It just knows this pile is different from that pile. And this is super powerful stuff because it helps us find insights we weren't even looking for. Businesses use this to segment their customers into groups, budget shoppers versus luxury buyers. And it's the magic behind those customers who bought this also bought recommendations you see everywhere. All right, our third and final approach is, well, it's a whole different ballgame. This is reinforcement learning. It's not about studying some static data set. Nope. This is all about learning by doing. It's trial and error, pure and simple. Yeah, this quote really hits the nail on the head. You have an AI agent. Think of it as a player in a game, or even a self-driving car. It tries an action. If it does something good, it gets a reward, like a point. If it messes up, it gets a penalty. And it just does this over and over, millions of times, until it learns the best strategy to get the most rewards possible. This is the exact tech that allowed an AI to beat the world's greatest Go player, which nobody thought was possible for a long time. But it's not just for games. It's being used to teach robots how to handle delicate objects, and even to design smart traffic light systems that can adapt to traffic on the fly. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Three really powerful but really different ways that machines can learn. Let's do a quick side-by-side comparison to pull it all together. So here's the whole thing at a glance. Supervised learning, you need labeled data because your goal is to predict outcomes. Unsupervised, you've got unlabeled data and you're just trying to discover hidden patterns. And reinforcement learning, you don't start with any data at all. The goal is just to learn the best actions through trial and error, a system of rewards and punishments. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that there's no single best way for machines to learn. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. It all comes down to the problem you're trying to solve and what kind of data you have to work with. The real art and science of AI is knowing exactly which tool to pull out of the toolbox for the job at hand. And that kind of leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? We're getting incredibly good at teaching machines how to learn from data, from patterns, from raw experience. But maybe the more important question now is, what should we teach them next? What are the most important problems for them to solve? That's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining me on this one.